So apparently there's this game called Space Engineers, and since it's a game that doesn't revolve around loot or action or guns or swords or loot, well, I've never played it. Instead, it's a game full of construction, engineering, space, and survival, all things I usually don't give one single F about when it comes to games. But I've got this one friend out of hundreds of friends, trust me, I have so many friends and definitely not just one or two. Nevertheless, he's super into Space Engineers, and he's been trying to get me to play it for a few months now, even though I audibly sigh every time he brings it up. Sometimes we'll be talking in Discord, and seconds after he asks me about playing Space Engineers, I have to mute my mic because I don't want him to hear me physically vomiting. I might be exaggerating a bit, but I'll never tell. Anyways, this friend out of literally thousands of friends, okay, I've got so many friends, I'm so cool. His name is Pickle. You ever go to a grocery store and go to the fruit section to buy a singular pickle? You know, they got him like sitting on a shelf? That's him, Pickle. You'll probably hear from Pickle from time to time in videos on this channel, like starting right now with a montage of him asking me to play Space Engineers like it's his job or something.
Honestly, we should just play Space Engineers. Well, do you want to play some Space Engineers? I was hoping that we could actually play some Space Engineers. Alright, dude, come on. We should actually play some Space Engineers.
So finally we made a deal. See, I've been trying to get Pickle into a game that I play called Divinity Original Sin 2, and he's against it because it has turn-based combat in it, and he hates turn-based stuff, which is rich coming from a guy who owns Tabletop Simulator because basically all tabletop games have turns, so take that. Sure, he's only got 2 hours of playtime on it, so maybe he hates turns so much he doesn't even like tabletop games, and if that's the case, then it looks like I'm back to having no friends. I mean 99 friends, I totally don't only have one friend. Pickle's not even my friend really, I'm just kidding, maybe, I'll never tell. Anyways, back to the deal, man, that was like a 5-sentence tangent that I ran through in 2.5 seconds because if I don't talk fast then these videos sound worse and they're just barely borderline funny already. So Pickle agreed to the deal of if I play Space Engineers and give it a shot for a few hours, then he'll sit in on a Divinity 2 session and give it a chance. So there you go, that's the backstory for this video. Let's get started with my first experience in the world of Space Engineers. You get a front row seat, so enjoy the show of me verbally telling you what happened as it's happening on screen in my monotone voice that's increasingly getting hoarser by the minute because man, I have to talk so much in these videos, not sure if you can tell. My first few minutes in engineering in space I spent staring at this tree until somebody noticed I was doing nothing but staring at this tree. I silently laughed to myself for a good 3 minutes because of the epic music that was playing as I was just staring at this tree, like my character's mind was blown by this tree. Then Pickle finally noticed I was just staring at this tree and my masterful comedy bit was over. I guess it's time to play the game. I'll be back for you, tree. I quickly learned how to move my character and rotate the camera, and that is the only time you'll hear the words I quickly learned in this video. I watch Pickle and our other friend run about for a few minutes as I stare at the hotkeys and the UI thinking to myself, my god, what is all this nonsense? So many numbers and symbols everywhere. I'm not good at math. There's gravity levels and whatever M/S is. What the heck are dampeners and why are they on? The only thing I know for certain is that this means flashlight. So I turn it on and head to the hole that Pickle and our other friend were mining out of. For multiple reasons, which I'll mention here in like 2 seconds, we're going to have to give our other friend here a different name to call him by so I don't have to keep saying our other friend throughout this entire video, even though that really wouldn't make any difference since there's already like 6,000 words in this script, what's another 20? But as you can see, the first part of our other friend's Steam name probably isn't the best thing to say 40 times in a video on YouTube, and I don't want to say the second part of his name because I'm not a 12-year-old. I also can't use his real name because it has way too many syllables in it. We could take out those 2 parts of our other friend's name and just call him The, but that's dumb and confusing. I don't even think I have to explain to you how dumb and confusing that would be. This whole sentence could have easily been removed from the script, but here I am keeping it in just to make this strange topic about discussing what to call our other friend a little bit longer, and just to show off how many words I can say from a single breath. I can keep going, really, I'm a pro at this. Okay, fine, let's get back to No Man's Sky. I mean Space Engineers, sorry, wrong video. Let's call him Susan. Back to the gameplay, Pickle, Susan, and I begin surviving on this planet by mining in this deep down, dark deep down hole. That's a reference, let me know if you get it. Turns out the picture I saw of Space Engineers on Steam that looked a lot like No Man's Sky wasn't a lie at all, because just like the early days of No Man's Sky, I spent the next 15 minutes just mining rocks and doing nothing else. What is this Minecraft in space, lol. After hearing this noise on repeat for 15 minutes, it started to feel like the drill was right next to my head digging into my skull. I probably could have turned down the game audio like my friends apparently told me to do, but for the majority of our session I couldn't hear them because the game audio was too loud, so them telling me to turn down the game audio didn't help because I couldn't hear them telling me to turn down the game audio because my game audio was too loud. You get what I'm saying? Rewind the video 10 seconds and take a shot every time I say the word audio from there on out. Audio, 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 haha, lol. I took a break from No Man's Sky and returned to my friend, the tree, took out my saw blade thing and proceeded to end its life solely because I was curious and wanted to know if I could cut down trees for materials. Turns out you can cut down trees, but you don't get materials, so I've just committed murder for no reason for the second time in my life. Then I stared at this tree so it knows who's boss. After too much dilly-dallying, I was forced back into the mining hole by my two slave owners, friends, and I spent the next literal 17 minutes mining straight up until I mined all the way to the top of this mountain. I was so proud of my work, but my friends, slave owners, wait, that's backwards, didn't seem to care at all. All they wanted was my blood, sweat, and tears, all of which they got, especially when Susan drilled into my stomach when I was on my much-needed lunch break. What the hell, Susan? I promise that actually happened. The reason why you didn't see gameplay of it is because just now, as I'm this far into the script, I realized some of my game footage didn't save, so that's epic. Looks like this Space Engineers video will be a lot shorter than it was supposed to be. I'm missing the entire middle 30 minutes of the session, so I guess I'll do an on-the-spot super speedy play-by-play of what went down during the 30 minutes of missing footage where the bulk of the adventures took place. Somehow I managed to capture all the footage of me doing this, but none of the footage of the actual stuff we did. I don't know what I'm going to put on screen during this part since I don't have the footage, but I'll think of something hilarious, I bet, like a bulleted list, because those are really funny and not because I have almost zero editing skills whatsoever to do anything cool. I could just fake the footage and reenact everything, but that's just not me, plus there's a few things that went wrong during this Space Engineer session that I just don't think we can repeat correctly. So here we go. I guess my speed talking is going to get put to the test in my first ever video on this channel. Let's begin. First off, after I mined all the way to the top of that mountain, and after I was drilled in the stomach by the friend whose name is Susan for the purpose of this video, I decided to get my revenge by chasing him/her with my buzzsaw, and this resulted in a short-winded deathmatch between Susan and I as we ran around in circles trying to murder each other with our survival tools, which is kind of ironic. As this is happening, Pickle is actually playing the game and building stuff, including this tower and this metal thing with this spinny thing at the top, which I found out is a windmill because about 5 seconds into mine and Susan's raging deathmatch, Susan quote-unquote accidentally drilled into this windmill, knocking it over as he/she was trying to kill me. Pickle got angry because Susan had ruined everything we had been working on, so Susan ran off into the distance screaming apologies, and Pickle just sighed and began building a new windmill. Next, Pickle decided he was going to teach me how to build a thing, and this thing ended up being a rover with the drill on the front. This bit was going to be super funny, and I had a long-winded, dumb, and overly exaggerated idea planned for navigating the menus and different buildable parts in this game for this video, but without the actual game footage, this would be super lame and just very annoying to listen to, totally unlike the rest of this video. Let's just say we built a rover, but it took a long time because menus and keyboard and mouse and no controller support and Susan screaming in the background and bathroom breaks and cocaine and loud audio and me falling asleep. I'm only joking about one of those, you decide which one. At last, the rover was built, and Susan decided to jump on top of it while Pickle was driving it towards me. Susan, for some reason, had also crafted a gun in her time alone in the mine, and he was acting as the turret on top of the rover, and of course he quote-unquote accidentally shot the windmill, knocking it down once more. And without delay, he ran off in the opposite direction, screaming apologies again and deciding to exile himself from the group, only to be gone for like 30 seconds before silently returning to the mine, where he spent the rest of his time attempting to dig to the core of the planet for a long time, and he was never heard from again. Some say he's still digging to this very day. During this time, I took the rover out for a spin, which I actually have footage of, after listening to Pickle's warnings about how if I crash the vehicle, we'll have to fix it or build a new one, and to make sure I don't go too fast, or I'll crash the vehicle and we'll have to fix it or build a new one, and to make sure I don't flip it, or we'll have to build a new one, and to make sure I don't drive it into a hole, or we'll have to build a new one. After I get back safe and sound, Pickle, the Space Engineer's master with over 1,000 hours in-game, flips the rover and drives it into a hole. I guess we have to build a new one. So to round out this video, let's go over what we accomplished during this session of Space Engineers. I stared at a tree, we mined a lot, Pickle built a windmill, Susan and I had a deathmatch, Susan knocked down the windmill, Pickle built another windmill, we built a rover, Susan built a gun, Susan shot down the windmill, Pickle built another windmill, I drove the rover, Pickle crashed the rover, then I fell asleep as we were playing. How I managed to stretch this video out this long when we really at the end of the day didn't get much done, I'll never know, but here we are. Make sure to like the video if it made you laugh out loud at least once, that's my ultimate goal, and subscribe for more super funny videos like this where I talk a lot and never stop. Also, if you subscribe within the next 24 hours, I'll hand deliver this limited edition, totally legit, and definitely not an off-brand One Ring to your house, except this One Ring is even specialer than the original you see because this One Ring only makes the finger you put it on invisible. How about that? That's a heckin' deal if I ever saw one. So subscribe. 24 hours. Invisible finger. How can you pass that up?